With the recent release of our unhinged fire Anomaly DPS Burnice, I assume many players just could not resist summoning for her, and especially after seeing her dance moves. However, with Yanagi dropping right after Burnice and also being a valuable Anomaly DPS character, there might be some players that aren't able to pick up both and would just have to settle for one of them. Of course, having both would be the best possible outcome as they do synergize extremely well together, as I have previously gone over, but even just having one of these two amazing characters would massively benefit your account. So with that, I'm going to be going over exactly how valuable both Burnice and Yanagi are, their flexibility in team building, the long-term value they hold, and ultimately, which one of these two insane Anomaly DPS characters would be best for your account. Just before we jump into it, as always, would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel for more ZenlessZoneZero content and drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Now, since Burnice has just released, I'll be going over how valuable she exactly is first. Burnice, as we already know, is a fire type Anomaly DPS character and specializes in dealing damage off field, which is achievable through Burnice entering the Nitro Fuel cocktail state. Once Burnice is in this state, she will be able to inflict enemies with the Scorched effect, and allies will be capable of then dealing afterburn damage, which is essentially fire damage dealt scaling of Burnice's attack and Anomaly proficiency. So the Nitro Fuel cocktail state does carry a lot of value, since it allows Anomaly DPS characters such as Jiyan to take up more field time, along with enabling both anomalies from two different Anomaly characters to be triggered as close as possible, which would allow you to maximize the damage dealt from triggering disorder. So that would pretty much explain why Burnice is extremely valuable for disorder teams, as she allows the team to trigger disorder more efficiently and for it to deal the most damage. Then taking Burnice's second core passive into consideration, it allows her to be even more valuable as a character overall. Since when Burnice is with another Anomaly character or a character that shares the same faction, the fire Anomaly build-up rate is increased by 65% for her EX special attacks and her special basic attack. So essentially, when Burnice is outside of a Nitro Fuel cocktail state and when you would need to bring her back onto the field to enter it once again, due to her fire Anomaly build-up rates being increased significantly, it means she would require only a short amount of field time, as she is capable of triggering her Anomaly quicker than any other Anomaly DPS. So Burnice really is an amazing Anomaly DPS character which holds quite a bit of utility within her kit, along with the ability of dealing considerable damage through proccing burn. It might not be anywhere near Jane's levels of damage, but considering that Burnice specializes in playing as a sub DPS character and isn't really there to deal tons of damage, it certainly is a great amount of DPS that will contribute to the overall DPS of the team. Now taking a look at exactly how flexible Burnice is in team building, her second core passive does provide us a strong indicator with exactly that, as Burnice's second core passive is only activated when she is alongside other Anomaly characters and characters from the same faction. So with that, it's clear to see that Burnice is going to be an extremely flexible character, as there already are quite a few characters from the Sons of Caledon and with one more on the way within 1.4, along with Anomaly characters being in the exact same position. So Burnice would in fact have quite a few team comps you would be able to place her in, and with time, the amount of comps available for Burnice to play in will grow rapidly, mainly due to a lot more Anomaly DPS characters dropping, such as Yanagi releasing just in 1.3. Now, even though Burnice is pretty much designed for disorder teams, she would still find success on a mono fire team, and more specifically alongside Soldier 11, being due to the Inferno Metal Disc Drive set synergizing very well with enemies being burned, which Burnice is able to trigger quite often. So given Burnice is quite a flexible character and just allows for disorder teams to run a lot more efficiently, it would then mean Burnice does in fact hold a lot of long-term value, since she would be an amazing sub DPS character for any main Anomaly DPS character now and in the future. Unlike someone like Jane, which is truly an insane DPS character, Burnice will definitely outlast her, since Jane's only use is to deal enormous amounts of damage, whereas Burnice will be able to benefit the team along with dealing considerable damage. So again, Burnice really is an amazing character with top tier kit design and certainly holds a ton of value for pretty much anyone's account. Now moving on to Yanagi, which is unfortunately dropping right after Burnice in version 1.3. Before anything, take quite a bit of this with a pinch of salt, as nothing is official with Yanagi and there are definitely going to be changes, which have actually happened since I last went over her. As we already know, Yanagi is an Electro Anomaly DPS character and is going to specialize in increasing the amount of disorder damage dealt by a significant amount. With that trait alone, it does allow Yanagi to be extremely valuable, since disorder is already capable of dealing insane amounts of damage, so when there is a character capable of increasing the multiplier, it then raises the argument whether you would need to optimize triggering disorder, as even if you do take a couple of extra seconds to trigger disorder, Yanagi increasing the damage dealt will still be enough to deal a significant blow to enemies or possibly even one-shot them, which might then allow Yanagi to hold even more value than Burnice, as Burnice is capable of allowing for disorder to be triggered more efficiently, but Yanagi is capable of allowing disorder to deal significantly more damage. Additionally, a recent rumor/change to Yanagi's kit is that she is in fact capable of proccing disorder by herself, which is a massive game changer to her kit and overall value, since this would mean she will be the first character capable of triggering disorder alone, meaning she wouldn't need to rely on any other Anomaly character to help in triggering disorder. Also, this would lead to Yanagi becoming even more flexible when it comes to team building, given the second slot on the team would be opened up to many more characters other than just Anomaly characters. So just considering the fact Yanagi is capable of increasing the amount of damage dealt from disorder, and that she is capable of triggering disorder by herself, does allow her to be a powerful and valuable character overall, since she can pretty much be considered as a one-man army. So then moving on to exactly how flexible Yanagi will be in team building, just as I mentioned, she really doesn't need to rely on any other Anomaly DPS character to trigger disorder. It does mean Yanagi is going to be one of the most flexible DPS characters in the game, but we would need to wait and see exactly who would be able to activate her second core passive to see the extent of Yanagi's flexibility. However, as of now, I would expect characters of the same faction as Yanagi and other Anomaly characters to be able to activate the passive, as even though Yanagi will be capable of triggering disorder by herself, it doesn't mean Anomaly characters would be completely useless alongside her, since they would still be great secondary DPS characters and may in fact allow Yanagi to deal even more disorder damage than by herself. Again, we would need to wait for the official kit to drop in order to confirm this, but just given the fact Yanagi is capable of playing alongside Anomaly DPS characters and performing just as well without them, is a massive aspect within her kit that truly holds a ton of value. So then, considering the amount of long-term value Yanagi would hold, I would argue it is pretty much similar to Burnice, or maybe just slightly more, since Burnice specializes in dealing damage off-field, which I would expect more characters sometime soon to also be able to do, especially since the Chaos Jazz Discraft set is made for fire and electric off-field damage dealers, which means we can expect an electric off-field damage dealer sometime soon, such as possibly Harumasa, which is pretty much confirmed to be an electric character already and should be dropping in 1.4 alongside Miyabi. However, with Yanagi specializing in enabling disorder to deal more damage is a lot more niche, just like how Jiyan is capable of allowing Assault to crit. So in terms of long-term value, Yanagi might just have more overall, as it would be hard to see another character able to also increase the damage dealt from triggering disorder anytime soon, which ultimately means Yanagi would have more bang for your buck. Overall, both Yanagi and Burnice are insane Anomaly characters which do synergize extremely well together, so it is a bit of a shame that they are dropping back to back, as not everyone will be able to pick up both. However, if you do manage to just pick up one of them, I do believe they both hold enough long-term value to still be a great character to pick up on their rerun, so you would be able to complete the duo sometime later. But as for which one of the two you should pick up now, Yanagi seems to be the more exciting character, since she is going to enable Disorder to deal even more nuclear damage, and since she is able to trigger Disorder by herself, means that she is self-sufficient and will have an insane amount of flexibility to play alongside Anomaly characters and attack type characters, which I suspect is leading to the synergy between Yanagi and Miyabi, since Miyabi is expected to be an ice type attacker. With Burnice, considering that she is our first true off-field damage dealer and is the best secondary Anomaly DPS character, means that she does in fact hold her own value, so you really can't go wrong with picking up either of these characters, as it is down to whether you would like to proc disorder more often and efficiently, or would you like to see disorder deal a lot more damage than it is currently capable of, which again you really can't go wrong with either, as they are both extremely valuable abilities. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel for more ZenlessZoneZero content, and if you enjoyed the video, drop a like. Also drop a comment down below on whether you have already picked up Burnice, or are you saving for Yanagi, or are you one of the fortunate ones able to pick up both. And yeah, hope to catch you guys later.